Kentucky lawmakers heard from school leaders today about the status of the state's only public historically black university.
Kentucky State University was the subject of a lot of debate in the final days of this year's legislative session. There's even been a lawsuit filed over a bill that supporters say was designed to save the university. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on what university officials told lawmakers in an interim legislative committee meeting. It's our top story at 5:30.
It is a promise.
There was emotional testimony on April 1st as lawmakers passed Senate Bill 185, which makes multiple changes at the state's historically black university. The legislation funnels $183 million, but requires polytechnic courses. Today, lawmakers heard a progress report from the university president and others.
The dual credit program went from 300 students to over 1,300. If you remove our dual credit numbers, KYSU Online Global was 87% of the enrollment growth.
But with success comes challenges. Shortly after the legislative session ended, they discovered the need for a major upgrade in their heating and air conditioning systems.
Our campus is fed by central HVAC units, and all three chillers failed at the same time when the temperature was over 90 degrees.
Today's hearing comes as a lawsuit is pending in the courts, a lawsuit filed by a number of students against the state, claiming that the way that the bill passed was not legal, primarily in some of the procedures in the final days of the session. The lawsuit wasn't mentioned during the hearing, but the committee chair did ask for a status update on the plans to establish polytechnic programs, as well as faculty and staff adjustments.
We close 3 programs as we speak, and those are on teach out. The rest I will just save that when you and I meet on one-on-one.
University officials also say they're making major improvements to several dormitories, including some that were in serious disrepair. Some of them will be ready for students when they return this fall. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And there is no word on when a judge will make a decision on the lawsuit.